This is Ray Carsillo for 1050 ESPN here in New York reporting. I am with Jacob Beucler, the senior associate producer for Blitz the League II. The first thing that comes to mind is that you see on the cover, you see on all the promotional posters, you see Lawrence Taylor. What decision went into bringing in Lawrence Taylor in? We're bringing him back for this second game after having the success with the first one.
Well, we had great success with the first one as Lawrence Taylor as our front guy. The decision to bring him back was a pretty easy one for us. He's a really powerful media person. He's well known. He's renowned for being hardcore, and he really represents what we tried to focus on in the gameplay as far as where we wanted to take the direction for Blitz the League II.
One of the key criticisms of the first Blitz was that you had one season and you were kind of one and done. There wasn't as much replay value as a lot of football fans would have liked in their game. How have you remedied that possible flaw for this second Blitz to try and help get the replay value for those hardcore football gamers?
Right, so what we've done is we've expanded the campaign playthrough to 3 seasons now, so you play through all 3 divisions. So you play almost every team that we have in the league. You play 22 of those teams throughout the campaign. Right now it boils down to about 15 hours of gameplay just to get through campaign, which is pretty big. We got a story written by Peter Egan from ESPN, I do believe.
Did some
Playmaker stuff. So he wrote our script, and it turned out really great. It's a really compelling story. We had some awesome cinematics done by Technicolor Studios. And we've really just pushed to have a compelling story with compelling characters. LT is certainly one of them, and we also have another character who plays the main character who you control, and he's played by GLC, who's a hip-hop artist that's been touring with Kanye, and his album's about to drop too. So adding him to this mix, and it really represents a really fun character to play.
Now, one of the big things that really drew people in the first game was that it's very different than your standard rules football. There's no penalties, there's a lot of smash mouth play, and of course there's the use of steroids and other things. How has that influenced the new game, and how has that been redone for this second installment of Blitz?
Well, as far as supplements go, we've really tried to tune how they're used, when they're used, and make them much easier to use and a much larger reward for the risk. We always push risk reward in this game, and being able to focus on that part of the supplements and what you're juicing what week, what guys are on what drugs what weeks, it really helps you win. It becomes a powerful modifier for you. So if it's important for you to have a really strong running game in a certain game because you've got a challenge that says you need 300 yards rushing, you can juice you guys up appropriately and go from there. So we spent a lot of time in the screens making sure they were really understandable. In the last Blitz, it seemed like it was hard to get across to the user exactly what they meant, when they were used, what was the purpose of them, and this year it's a much easier process.
And something that's come back is the injury system. There's a lot of different injuries and different body parts, but there's one in particular that seems to have everybody a little squeamish. Can you go into a detail about that?
Yeah, we've got a ruptured scrotum injury that makes every single person I've seen cringe. It's unbearable. I can't stand it. It's a great injury.
At least for the video game characters.
Yeah, as long as it's not happening to me, it's all right.
How many more teams are there in the game, and how many teams total are in the game?
Right now we've got 24 teams in the game. We added 2 expansion teams, and a couple other teams have moved around, so it's a persistent fiction from the last league. The Miami Hammerheads have moved out of San Diego. They used to be the San Diego Cyclones. The Dallas Aztecs were sold to Mexico City, so now we've got a Mexico City team, and we've also got a new team up in Vancouver. So the Canadians and Mexico have teams in the league now, so it's bigger than just what's going on in America. So we tried to really make this a continental game, if you would.
One of the big things that you guys have definitely tried to distance yourself from is the NFL game, and trying to get it from the NFL umbrella. What do you think are the biggest challenges of taking football that has been around for 80, 90 years and and changing it in a way that is going to be still conducive to people, that people are still going to want to pick up and play, even though it's very different from what they're used to?
Well, I think that works in our advantage, honestly, because it's an arcade game, and we really wanted to get back to our roots of what an arcade game was. And being away from the NFL license has pretty much empowered us to do what we want to and make the game how we can. We don't have to get injuries thrown by. We don't get content taken out of our game because other people have to approve it. You know, what we want to make, we can make. So by showing injuries, by showing the juicing, by introducing new mechanics such as juicing players on the field and bone sets for injuries, we've really been empowered to push our gameplay over the top and really push the arcade experience, which is what we're going for. You know, we compete with Madden in the sense that we're a football game, but we're a very different style of football. We're an arcade, fast-paced, hard-hitting, bone-crushing type of game. So we don't get really classified as a sim game just because it's not. You know, it's all fiction characters and it's fast. One of the other cool things that helps us kind of differentiate is the fact that we've got story mode. That's something that nobody has. You know, being able to do a campaign mode and still have the fast-paced stuff really helps us differentiate ourselves from what that market is.
Now, of course, obviously the Blitz the League was for the previous generation of game systems. What has the new systems like the PS3 and the Xbox 360 really allowed you to help bring to this game, aside from graphics, like in terms of like maybe processing power and stuff like that?
Well, you know, we're running at 60 frames. It's locked in. It feels really good. It's really responsive. We've been able to really bump up the way our crowd reacts. We've been able to make sure the audio quality is better. We've got a full 5.1 mix on everything. It sounds great. And just having the raw power behind the 360 and the PS3 has really enabled us just to make the game that we've always wanted to. You know, it feels like this is the right Blitz. This is the one we've been shooting for. This is what all those other iterations of Blitz have led us to, and it's the precipice of what we've wanted to achieve. And so having those platforms available for us to ship on, it's absolutely wonderful. You know, we've got better texture quality, our frame rate's better, it looks better overall, we're running in high definition. You know, we were able to push weather effects really big in this game, so we've got some really great weather. The fields degrade over time, the characters get muddy, they get wet, they get bloody, they get grass stained. So really that much processing power has allowed us to do all the extra things that we really wanted to do.
How long was Blitz the League II in development for?
We spent 24 months in development on this title.
Now, just for it to confirm, when is exactly the ship date for Blitz?
We will be on shelves the second half of October.
All right, very cool. Jacob, thank you for your time.